Buenos Aires, capital of Argentina, and home to the astonishing Total Wipeout obstacle course, a brutal battleground in which 20 brave Brits, including a model, a pastry roller and a nurse, are about to test their bodies to the limit as they fight for a £10,000 prize. There'll be lots of losers, but only one winner. This is Total Wipeout. Welcome to Total Wipeout. 20 brave souls, some athletic, some less so, have journeyed all the way from the UK to tackle the Total Wipeout course. The rules are simple. You go over some obstacles, you get really wet, and the best person wins. But they are that simple. And these are the challenges that face our competitors today. The qualifier, the sweeper, the dizzy dummies, and the grand final, the Wipeout zone. The qualifier will reduce our contestants from 20 to 12. It may also reduce some of them to gibbering wrecks. Let's have a look at the course. And first up is a brand new obstacle, the slippery stairs, covered in Vaseline and a nightmare to climb. Conquer that, then it's a short dash to the sucker punch. Lots of boxing gloves, gallons of mud, and a tiny chance of getting across unharmed. Then to the big balls, or as the Argentinian crew like to call them, the big balls. They all speak excellent English. Once across the balls, it's the leap of faith, a circular run and jump, followed by a difficult landing on a tiny platform. At that point, the clock is stopped. Don't forget, only the top 12 go through to the next round. To win today's competition, the Total Wipeout champion will not only endure extreme physical challenges, but also extreme giggling from my co-host Amanda Byram as she watches them falling off big things. So let's join her now on the course with our optimistic hopefuls.
So I'm here now with Chris. Chris, hang on, you've just got something in your... Oh, wait, no, that is your hair.
Yeah, got like inbuilt spikes, all natural.
Now, have you been doing anything to prepare for this extremely difficult course today?
Yes, been getting climbing lessons and trampoline lessons to deal with those evil balls over there.
Yes, trampolines are flat and balls are round. How are you going to get around that one?
With her luck.
I'm Sonic! The Sonic God! I'm doing this course like a Sonic boom!
No, I didn't understand a word of that. Still, he's off. Straight into the water, that is going to ruin his hair. No, sadly not. Well, he's on. Woo! Now to the slippery stairs. These have been coated in Vaseline, much like Chris's hair. Over you go, Chris, that's the way. Dispatch that with no problem. Stumbling a bit there. Let's hope he finds his feet for the next obstacle, the sucker punch. Now, I can't actually explain how you get past this wall of boxing gloves. Don't get punched. In your face, Chris. Quite literally. He's staying on, though. He's off. He is off.
Oh, no, he's going to ruin his lovely hairdo. More like a hair don't.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. Let's have a look at that in slow-mo. That evil incidental music tells me that Chris must now traverse his toughest challenge yet, the big balls. Come on, Chris. Be brave. Oh. And that, boys and girls, is how not to do it. Hang on, I think Chris does actually manage to land further back than where he jumped from. And that takes some doing. Now he'll have to swim all the way over to the podium, costing him vital seconds. Don't forget, he's trying to set as fast a time as possible to be in the top 12 qualifiers. Just the leap of faith to go. Chris must grab the rope and swing to the podium in the middle of the pool. I know it sounds easy, but let me remind you how last week's contestants got on with this particular obstacle. No matter how many contestants we threw at the leap of faith, not a single soul made it across. So it is a tall order for our spiky, shouty friend as he makes his run-up. Oh, and that's more like it! Chris completes the course in 2 minutes 13, and that is now the time to beat.
Well done!
Who's next?
My name's Mandy. I'm 46. I don't need no special tricks to let you know that I'm not sad and that I can get really mad. So that is why I'm here today, to win Total Wipeout. I hope and I pray.
Mandy's a sales administrator from Rugby, not a full-time poet. So the first of our more mature crop of contestants takes to the course.
Come on, man! You can do it! All the way!
Mandy making her way to the slippery stairs and, oh!
All the way up, come on!
Completely failing to make any headway there.
Come on! Come on, girl.
Ah, the stairs claiming their first victim. Having failed to get over the slippery stairs, Mandy has to make the long swim to the next obstacle, costing her valuable time. Come on, Mandy, you can do it, all the way! Oh. She got hit with a third and falls in the mud. Mandy, you can have that one on me.
Come on, man! Come on, girl! Up you come! Go, girl!
Yeah, I think the shouting may be costing her vital energy at this point.
Get yourself together! Balls! They don't do nothing for me. I'm just going to beat them. I'm going to run at them and give it all I've got.
Okay, you go, girl. Go, go, go. Yes. She's completely missed the second ball. And that was a nasty belly flop. I wouldn't want to see that again. While Mandy works out how to breathe again, let's see who's next to go.
Woo! You ain't seen nothing yet!
This is 18-year-old Sham, a gymnastics coach from Wales, so she should be good at this. And she is. Impressive stuff. Sham's flying around the course. Onto the sucker punch now. Oh, that's really going to slow her down. Now, Sian is really small and those balls are really big. See, that's how a gymnastics coach tackles the big balls. Pretty much the same way as everybody else. Somebody's going to clear those one day, though. Somebody will. Blimey, Sian's landed it too, and in the fastest time today, 1 minute 46 seconds. Wow, Sian proving that size really doesn't matter there with a fantastically fast run that should have the boys quaking in their boots. Remember, only the 12 fastest qualifiers will go through to the next round. Time to see who else is vying for a place in that all-important dozen. What do this 60-year-old from Salford and this young lady from Brighton have in common? Well, there are two things. Firstly, they both pluck their eyebrows. And secondly, they've both opted to use tinted goggles to protect their eyes. Makes sense. But how will they protect the rest of their bodies?
Hey! I'm the oldest swinger in town, but watch me fly round this course! Woo.
Yes! Right, he's away. He's in. He's out. The course already bringing Dave to his knees. I don't know, I think he's going to be made of the right stuff, though, this guy. Onto the slippery stairs. Oh. Yes, maybe a slippery stair lift would have helped. Onto the sucker punch now. Flying Dave should have no problem here. The wall would never punch a pensioner. It's punched a pensioner! Oh, still, at least it wasn't in the face. Natalie doesn't hang around at the sucker punch. Doesn't look like she wants to hang around in there for long either.
Oh, God.
At least she wore goggles. Looking ready now for the big balls, Dave. Just flying round. Here we go. Yes. Oh, that kneeling technique there, that was never going to work. Neither will his knees now, probably. Now it's Natalie's turn. Moment of glory. What was that? Natalie did eventually finish in 3 minutes and 52 seconds. David finishes with a spot of rope burn in 5 minutes, 7 seconds.
Yes. Yes, yes.
Oh, don't do that, David.
Yes.
Johnny, what is it you do for a living?
I'm a personal trainer and I used to be in the military.
Sir, yes, sir. How do you feel about coming up against some tough female chick competition?
I'm not going to let them beat me. Not at all. I will never, ever let them beat me.
This one's for the boys out there to prove girls can't win. Come on!
What? Did he really say? Don't involve me in it. Right, he's off. Oh! See, ladies, if you wish for something hard enough, it really can come true. Onto the sucker punch. Oh! That punch was from my 8-year-old daughter. Oh. Right, onto the big balls now for Action Man Johnny. And... Oh! Well, until he fell off, that was actually pretty good. Johnny marches to the finish line in 1 minute and 34 seconds. A very, very good time. But now for the women of Britain, let's take another look at Johnny falling off the big balls. And then getting punched in the face. Oh. So let's see how the leaderboard is taking shape. That last run from Action Man Johnny sees him blazing a trail to the top of the leaderboard. Sorry, ladies, it's early yet, though. Behind him in second place is Sean with Shouty Chris in third. Natalie is in fourth, Poetic Mandy in fifth, and Flying David is sinking rather than swinging down in sixth and last place. Now, I just want to talk about those big balls for a minute. Probably the toughest obstacles in the whole of Total Wipeout. What's more, they do have an amazing, almost magical ability to turn finely tuned athletes into crash test dummies over and over again. So, how will 37-year-old mum Yvonne from Fife deal with the balls? Oh, not very well. Yeah, starts reasonably well, then goes horribly wrong. Oh, best not to land on your face there, Yvonne. Let's see that one more time. Next to try the big balls is Vicky. She's a nurse from Lincoln and has been preparing for this punishing course by walking her dogs and doing lots of swimming. Safe to say that the swimming has come in handy there. Backstroke? That's just showing off. Next up is 25-year-old Helena, who's here representing all the independent women out there.
Now, what is your motivation for being here today?
I just want to prove to people that girls are just as good as guys and we get stereotyped a lot.
So what is it that you do?
I do modelling.
Do you have a boyfriend?
Yeah, I do.
What does he do?
He plays football.
Ah, OK. So what do you do in your spare time?
I go to the gym mostly, 2 or 3 times a week.
Will Helena's gym training help her with the sucker punch, though? Well, she's fit, she's strong. No! In fact, the punch misses her face, but it's the body blow that takes her off the wall, and that's going to cost her time. Right, onto the big balls. She's gym fit and toned. She could do it. Could she be the one to clear them? It's just about balance. It's about not doing that. No! Now Helena just has to land on the podium to finish a pretty decent time. There we go, touchdown. No! No, let go! Did nobody tell her? Good grip, but stop it now.
How is that pretty little model face doing? Let me see. Yeah. Oh, all in one piece. How are you feeling?
I'm so knackered.
Still a decent 3 minutes 36 for Helena, and proof, if it were needed, that this course is bad for your health and your looks. This is Shelf Stacker Blair, and those pontoons aren't really an obstacle. She's just making it look tough. She's not having much luck on the slippery stairs either. Yeah, we'll rejoin Blair later when she's pulled herself together.
I'm going to win this show, now watch me go!
This is Phil. He's a 33-year-old website designer from Barnsley. But he also has an amazing talent up his sleeve. He's a part-time rapper.
I'm Phil, I'm 33, I'm in the place to be. I want to win this thing on the BBC. I got my mama in the hood, saying I should try my best to beat the rest. Wipeout. Let me hear you scream. And then everyone screams.
Admit it, you screamed. That is quite an effort. It's a tougher obstacle than it looks, that one. Right, onto the sucker punch. Oh, MC Philly Phil's secret talents don't end with rapping. He's also an amazing breakdancer. Look at him go.
Oh,
Come on, Phil. Show how those balls are done B-boy style. Whatever that is. Yes. No. I think that loud noise was his body popping.
Come on, kids, we can do this! Come on, kids, up!
MC Philly Phil keeps it real in the end with a time of 2 minutes and 54 seconds. Will that be enough to take him into the top 12 and into the next round? Now, let's see how Blair's getting on. How much confidence is in that face? Absolutely none. Oh, I think you'd agree that was the least surprising fall of the day. And I can confirm that is the shortest distance ever travelled on the sucker punch. Yeah, it does look like Blair probably won't make it into the top 12 or out of that mud pit. So while Blair enjoys her bath, let's see who's next.
First stop, second round, get some!
This is 22-year-old event organiser Dan, and to keep himself one step ahead in the fashion stakes, he's opted to wear 2 headbands. All the kids are doing it these days, apparently. And look at the concentration etched on Dan's face. Still on, oh, he's off! That's why he was wearing 2 headbands, to keep one clean. Clever. Onto the big balls now.
Abby, come on!
We could be in for a good time. Oh, that's got to be the fall of the day! So determined. He's gonna cross them, and then it goes wrong. But the most damaging thing about this fall wasn't the blow to Dan's back, it was the loss of a precious headband. Good job he's got a spare. No, he's lost that as well. Wear 3 next time.
That's how I roll! Right there, that's how I roll!
Still a very, very impressive 1 minute 22 seconds for Headband Dan. I think he could be in with a shout today. Now it's time to answer the question on everybody's lips. How is Blair getting on? Go, girl, go! Yes! Oh dear. Not at all well. Still, Blair picks herself up, dusts herself down, and falls off the rope. But finally ends up with a time of 6 minutes 44. Miracles do happen, and perhaps Blair has surprised us all and hijacked the party at the top of the leaderboard. Unfortunately for Blair, the only miracle is that she's managed to complete the qualifier before it gets dark. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. Headband Dan has flown to the top, knocking Action Man Johnny down to 2nd, with Gymnast Sean in 3rd. The 5-flyer Yvonne is in 5th place, closely followed by MC Philly Phil in 6th. Wipeout Wag Helena is in 7th, Poetic Mandy in 9th, and Blair is down there in 12th and last place. Now, this total Wipeout course is by no means just for the kids. Today's next 3 proud competitors are flying the flag for mums and dads everywhere. Let's just hope it doesn't turn out to be a little white flag. Meet Dad of 3, Nigel.
This is my friends, my family, my fans. I'm a winner!
Yeah, with a bit of luck, they won't be watching you, Nigel. Good luck.
Yeah! I'm gonna fly around this course. Next to me is my Wipeout!
Yes, that's Crazy Legs Colin.
I'm doing it for my kids. I'm doing it for Toby and Emily. Look what Mummy's doing!
Yeah, Toby, Emily, you might want to hide behind the sofa for this. So let's see if any of them can show us who's the daddy or the mummy. Alison's off first. Oh, comes down to earth with a bang. Watch and learn, kids. This is textbook slipping. Windmill arms there, high kicks, finish with a grimace. Perfect. Whilst Colin just surfs it in style. Ah! Nasty. Looks like 3 children is your lot, Nigel. So there you go, kids. Your dad did well. Not well, but he finished, and you can be proud. Now, there are only 5 contestants left to go in the qualifier, and for those waiting in the wings, the anticipation must be unbearable. This is Perrin. He's a pastry roller from Cornwall, and apparently quite a talker.
Perrin, you are just oozing cool. Are you excited about the course today?
Yeah.
Have you been in, really hard training?
Yeah.
Really looking forward to it then, are we?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Perrin, I think we've covered everything.
I am the master of total wipeout.
Oh, that looked painful. Still, first time that hare's seen water for a while. This is impressive stuff. He's a man of few words who obviously likes to let his actions do the talking. Perrin approaches the big balls. There he goes. Oh, no. Perrin part Cornishman, part Wookiee. All wet. But Perrin isn't down for long, and he swings on home in a scorching 1 minute 30. I'm sure he's got a thing or two to say about that.
3 words to describe that course. Tough. I was about to say the same word again. Yeah, tough. I can't think of any other 2. Just tough, challenging. What word to describe is not what it looks like. No, I don't know.
Each of our 20 lucky competitors has to face the dreaded sucker punch. And so far today, all have failed miserably to make it across. With just 4 competitors to go, will 21-year-old Irish student Adrienne be the first to stay out of the mud? Quite simply, no. To her credit, she does take 2 blows to the face before going down. Yeah, that did it. 34-year-old personal trainer Kathy is next.
I'm here to show you guys how it's done.
Kathy's a personal trainer, so she's fit. But will she be able to beat the sucker punch? Well, she's still on. She's nearly made it across. But like so many before her, Kathy gets up close and personal with the wet brown stuff. By which I mean she's fallen in the mud. Next to try his hand at the fists is cinema projectionist Ben.
Pain is temporary, failure is forever.
Yes, and camouflage is for soldiers, not cinema projectionists. Well, come on then, keep going. Ben takes his turn on the big balls. Here we go. Yes. Oh. Having got across the first and the second, he just gets fingertips to the third. It looks so close. And that is the best effort so far today. Our last competitor looking for a place in the top 12 is 27-year-old radio DJ John. Taking on the sucker punch now. Oh! Once was enough.
Oh, man, it's muddy.
That'd be the last thing on my mind right now. A punch like that first one, John, would bring a tear to most men's eye. It took the second one to knock him off. And here's your news and weather. I think that's smarter.
Big balls, come.
Yeah, John's shouting at the big balls, employing his abilities as a radio presenter. It may help.
Big balls.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, no. Ow.
Big balls.
He hits the second ball and manages to get a finger across to the third and a face full of rubber. And then John manages to pioneer a brand new Total Wipeout move. I shall christen it the Scorpion. John struggles to the finish line in 2 minutes 27 seconds. But remember, he needs to be one of the fastest 12 to get through to the next round. And here we have our final leaderboard, with Headband Dan topping the charts in first place. Perrin is in second. Action Man Johnny has been pushed into third. Fastest of the ladies is Sian, who's hop, skipped and jumped into fourth place. Ben is in fifth. Colin is in sixth. Then it's Shouty Chris in 8th, MC Philly Phil is in 11th, and our Wipeout Wag Helena scrapes through in 12th and last place. So congratulations to today's top 12, because they are one step closer to clinching that £10,000 prize. Now it's time to turn up the heat, by which I mean let's make more people fall off stuff. Bring on the sweeper. All that our 12 remaining Brits have to do now is stay balanced on their podiums, while that big red sweeper arm tries to knock them off as it rotates faster and higher with every revolution. The first 6 to fall in the water are eliminated. But the sweeper will keep knocking people off until we have our last man or woman standing. And their prize is a psychological edge going into the next round. So, on podium 1, it's a pumped up and confident Yvonne.
First to jump, last to fall. You're having a laugh.
Next to her on podium 2, it's that old charmer, Action Man Johnny.
Sean and Kathy, you're going down!
Oh, Johnny. On podiums 3, 4 and 5, it's Shouty Chris, Colin and Gymnast Sian.
I may be the youngest, but I'm going to show you how it's done.
On 6 and 7, it's Kathy and Headband Dan.
If I get through the sweeper, I'm going to be 10 grand richer. Last 6, baby, come on.
And next to Dan, our Wipeout Wag Helena.
I might have came 12th in the qualifier, but I'm going to be the last woman standing. Woo! Ah!
On podiums 9 and 10, it's DJ John and MC Philly Phil.
This sweeper man, it looks so demanding, but I'm praying I'll be the last man standing.
And to round things off, on podiums 11 and 12, Ben and Perrin. Perrin there, just realising he's left the gas on. So, only 6 people go through to the next round. Let's see how they get on. Amanda.
Are you all ready up there?
Yeah! Go!
Yeah, they look absolutely terrified. 3, 2, 1.
Right, slow and steady to start.
Wear short shorts.
Oh, but disaster strikes early for Colin. His legs have gone a bit too crazy for him there.
C'est la vie, c'est la guerre.
Yeah, Sella, you're out, Colin. Oh, seconds later, footballer's sweetheart Helena becomes one wet wag.
Not the last woman standing. First one down.
Big Ben there opts for the bump and hug technique, but it seems to be working.
Whoa! Was that good?
Nope, that was just a noise.
Well done, get up!
Whoa, what happened there?
I tried my best, that's the best I can do.
What? That's the best you can do. MC Philly Phil makes a right mess of it and nearly takes Ben out. Luckily for Ben, he hangs on.
When the world leaves you feeling
Oh, Phil,
blue,
you've just lost all
you
that
can
credibility
count on
you
me.
built up.
I will be there for you.
So 9 contenders are still in the game. Yvonne, Johnny, Chris, Sian, Kathy, Dan, who's now diving 2, John, Ben and Perrin. But only 6 can go through to the next round, so we still need some more tumbles.
I did it!
Well, come on then, people. You're all wearing life jackets. Be ashamed not to use them. Fall off. This 9 are doing incredibly well. Wow. And still they go. This 9 are just refusing to fall off. Yeah, that's why we call him Shouty Chris.
You love it, big boy, let's go!
Come on, Yvonne, this one, you're going down!
Oh, that's the spirit, Johnny.
But you might be right, Johnny.
And the sweeper just keeps on getting faster and faster. Oh, and it's a disaster for DJ John.
I'm so annoyed with myself because, do you know what? I could have been up there. I could still be up there.
Yeah, judging by that, John, your teeth could still be up there. With every revolution, the sweeper speeds up. 8 contestants still standing now, but only 6 go through. Headband Dan's barely got time to stand before he's back down, but not out. Does anybody want to fall?
Oh my God!
Oh! Oh, and Yvonne's gone! And Chris too! And that's lights out for Kathy. Oh, Headband Dan collects the sweeper in the chest, didn't stand a chance off the podium. But I think he's done the maths here. He's got his arms in the air, he's celebrating because he's seen 6 have already gone down. That means he's in the final 6 to go through. Ever sympathetic Amanda there, really feeling for Dan's pain. But that was carnage. Let's slow this down and see exactly what's going on. Down goes Yvonne, that's 7 left. Then Chris goes down. We have our final 6. Then just behind him is Kathy. Now she goes down, but she hits the water after Chris. That means she goes through to the next round. Chris and Yvonne are out.
I was so scared up there, honestly. I was terrified.
I thought, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. It just caught the tip of my toe. I just thinking that one more sequence, I'd have made it. Last man standing, come on! No bird's going to beat me!
You have to forgive Johnny. He's only 9 years old.
No bird's going to beat me, come on!
Oh, yeah!
Justice, ladies and gentlemen, is served up, total Wipeout style. He's gone. So Sean, Ben and Perrin are left. Who will be our last man standing? There's Sean. And there's Ben and Perrin. Oh, ouch! No wonder Sean didn't clear that. It's up to waist height on her. Ah, that looks nasty. Funny, but nasty. We started with 12, we're down to the last 2. Oh, hold your horses. I think, yeah, Perrin has definitely just fallen off. Yeah, that happened. And that makes Big Ben our last man standing and Sweeper King. So 12 are now 6, but let's remind ourselves who they are and how they got here. First up, it's our #1 qualifier and fashion icon, Headband Dan.
Power roll! Right there, power roll!
Next, it's the pint-sized pixie from Wales, Gymnast Sharp.
You lot ain't seen nothing yet!
Then there's Action Man Johnny, truly a man for the new millennium.
No bird's gonna beat me!
Yeah. Then there's personal trainer and mum of 3, Kathy.
I'm here to show you guys how it's done.
And we've got Cornish pastry roller, Chatty Perrin.
I am the master of total wipeout.
Stranger to the barber, but master nonetheless. And finally, there's camouflage-wearing cinema projectionist, Big...
Pain is temporary!
Bad...
Failure is forever!
Ben, the Sweeper King. These 6 have been through a lot, but it doesn't get any easier. So let's give them all a huge amount of encouragement as we watch them falling over and getting wet. Let's move on to the Dizzy Dummies. Here's how it works. We spin the competitors round and round, and when they can barely walk, we ask them to battle across obstacles that would be difficult enough if you weren't dizzy. We run the game 3 times, and each time the last person across will be eliminated, leaving us with our 3 finalists. Quite simply, the object of the game is don't come last. The first obstacles are the tippy tables, and then it's on to the dog maze. All clear? Let's get spinning. So off they all go, 40 seconds of high-speed spinning. 6 people in a human centrifuge. Rather them than me. Somebody's screaming. I think it's Ben.
Ben does not look good.
Oh, he'll get better. Eventually. And they're off. Sean's first out of the blocks. Johnny's got other ideas. Ladies first, Johnny? No, I thought not.
You got me jerking, man.
Johnny makes a dash for it and crosses the line. Sean, Perrin and Kathy have all slipped into the water. Dan now out in front on his own. And he dives over the finish line.
Savvy!
Perrin now, he doesn't hang around. Will he? Yes, he has. He's made it. So, Sean, Kathy and Ben are left, and Sean's got the tables to herself. And she's safe.
Last one over is out, remember that?
So either Kathy or Ben will be eliminated. Ben does his best to upset the table, but only succeeds in falling in himself. That could be curtains for our sweeper king.
Kathy! Kathy! Kathy!
There's only one place up for grabs. Kathy's made it, it's hers. Ben is eliminated.
Look, Ben, so close, but yet so very, very far. Where did it all go terribly wrong?
I just couldn't get a grip. I went onto it. Every time I went on it, just slid. Just couldn't get a grip.
Did you think for one moment that you might have beat her across?
No, far from it.
5 left, and one more is about to be eliminated, this time by the dock maze. Our competitors are strapped in. The dizzy dummy is primed, and apparently they've all had Scotch eggs for lunch.
I can't believe we're doing this again.
So off they spin once again, round and round and round they go for 40 sickening seconds. I feel ill, just watching. So Johnny's out first, closely followed by Sean. Now headband Dan dives in and takes Sean, and I think Perrin now out as well. That leaves Johnny out in front to cross the line. Go on, Johnny, Willie. Yes, he has. Still without a drop of water on him. Sean's back at the start. But watch out, Sean, because here comes Dan. Dan now all over Perrin like a cheap suit. Or a dodgy hairstyle. Sean just inches from the line. Oh, she's fallen in! Kathy and headband Dan on the same block. Perrin jumps on with them. Surely this now can end only one way. That way. Now Perrin is stranded miles away from the last block. What can he do? Whoa, my... That was an astonishing leap. A fine effort, but no cigar. Just a mouthful of wet hair. Sean has done the clever thing. Wait for the pontoons to float back together again. She is across. She's done it. So, 3 are left. Only 2 can continue. Perrin spots a gap round Kathy, but they both end up in the water. Dan now holding on for dear life. And headband Dan crawls over the finish line. I think he's relieved. Only Perrin and Kathy left. The last one across will be eliminated. Perrin makes a run for it. And leaps for the line like a Cornish kangaroo. And he's made it. He has made it. Kathy is eliminated.
Kathy, you're such a competitive streak in you. Do you feel gutted right now?
Yeah, I'm gutted.
Well, listen, you've been wonderful, but those strong legs of yours couldn't get you to the next round, I'm afraid. But well done, Kathy.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Cheers.
Although Kathy and Ben have both been eliminated, we still need to lose one more competitor. So the stragglers must strap themselves back in. And the Argentinian bloke that powers a dizzy dummy needs to get back on his bike. So it is the last spin for this lot. The loser will be kissing goodbye to any chance of winning the £10,000 prize money. Remember, only the first 3 will go through to the wipeout zone. Slowing to a stop, and they're off.
Oh, here they go. One last attempt.
Oh my God!
Oh, disaster for Johnny as he takes a dip in the water for the first time. About time, too. Headband Dan's made a right mess of it, which leaves Sian with a clear run across the tables. And she's across the first table. And the second, and she's through to the wipeout zone. Go Sian.
We have a woman in the final.
Johnny's off again. Did Headband Dan just tip the table? And Dan's tipped Perrin in too. Dirty but effective tactics from Headband Dan.
Dan.
He's across the first table. He's not making friends, but he is making distance. He's over the second, and he is through to the wipeout zone. So Sian and Dan are already through. It's Perrin versus Johnny for the last place in the final. Perrin using all his strength to have a last go, but no, action man Johnny jumps on and completely upsets the table. I think he may have done that on purpose. He sprints for the line, and Johnny has done it. He is in the final with Sian and Dan. Perrin is eliminated.
Where did it all go wrong? Was it the very end?
Just get sliding off.
For someone who didn't say very much in the beginning, you were full of beans on that last round.
No problem, man.
Couldn't have put it better myself. Well, certainly couldn't have put it the same way. Right, Perrin, Kathy and Ben are out. Sian, Dan and action man Johnny go through to the wipeout zone for their chance to win that £10,000 prize. But before we unleash our three finalists on the most challenging and downright scary obstacle course in the world, let's have a look at their journey to today's final.
Getting to the final was an amazing achievement for me.
Facing the wipeout zone tonight, I feel anxious, nervous. It's nothing like I've never done before. It's going to be a tough course.
I think now we're down to the last three. We're each looking at each other, knowing that one person's going to win that 10 grand, and yeah, it's a lot more competitive.
Surprised Sian's here, being a girl. I expected 3 fit males to be there.
I'm definitely pleased there's a girl in the final. It's between me or Johnny now.
Dan and Johnny don't think I can do very well, and I think they've got it easy against me, but I'm going to give them a run for their money. I think people underestimate me a lot.
Sian, the little girl from Wales.
She's obviously a little bit smaller, probably a little bit slower.
She'll not be able to keep up with our physical stamina and mental ability.
I'm going to do it for the girls, do it for Wales. I'm going to give it all I've got.
I'm going to win Total Wipeout because I'm the best competitor there is. I deserve to be up there, and I will be the winner at the end.
I've been confident throughout, I've been leading throughout, and I'm just going to roll it in the final as well.
Night has fallen in Buenos Aires. That's in Argentina. Keep up. Our three finalists are readying themselves for the biggest challenge of their lives. It's called the Wipeout Zone, and you've never seen anything like it. Unless you saw last week's show, or the one before that. OK, so it's an obstacle course like you may have seen before, but it's still massive and really frightening. This is what our three finalists, Johnny, Dan and Sian, have to face. First, they launch themselves down the high-speed killer surf. Next, it's a swim to the barrel run, where they must hurdle 50-kilogram barrels as they roll towards them. Then it's a treacherous and slippery climb across the waterfall, before leaping onto the fast-moving spinner, traversing the rolling beam, and finishing with a leap off the launch pads. The fastest finalist will be tonight's winner and take home the £10,000 prize.
They have waded through water, bounced off balls and spun themselves dizzy, all in an attempt to get to the most difficult challenge yet, the Wipeout Zone. And first to go is Johnny.
Come on, yes! So, ex-soldier Johnny is up first, no doubt desperate to beat Sian. Super competitive action man Johnny is off. Swims now towards the barrel run. Johnny used to be in the army, so should have plenty of experience on obstacle courses. Though not necessarily exactly like this one. I probably should mention that walkway is covered in Vaseline, and the barrels now rolling towards him weigh a whopping 50 kilograms each.
Ooh.
Ow! Johnny's adapted his style halfway through. It's less dignified, but still effective. Don't forget, he's got to set the time for the other two to beat. Now he's onto the wet and slippery climbing wall. That was nearly a very costly slip. Maybe he's trying to keep the tension up for us watching. Towards the spinner now, he's got to make the leap onto it. Johnny prepares. He's across. He makes it. More importantly, he's got something to hold on to. But the longer he stays on the spinner, the dizzier he'll get. That'll make it harder when he clears it for the next obstacle. Nice work. He's done it first time. Just the rolling beam and launch pads to go now. No problem there for Johnny. I'd say we could be in for a very, very good time. Oh! He's made his first error. It was all going so well for Johnny up until that point. And that mistake will cost him vital seconds. Johnny now climbs up the ladder. He's got to go back up to the first launch pad and make it to the second. Oh, he's fallen in again! This is a disaster for Action Man Johnny. Great news for womankind. For him, a disaster. After such a promising start, it's all turned into a frustrating end. This could cost him 10 grand. Keeping control now, save for that time. Onto the second trampoline. He can nearly touch the finish line. He's there, and Johnny has done it with a time of 4 minutes, 24 seconds. But he's going to be so annoyed with himself. He made such a strong start to the wipeout zone, but then threw it all away on the launch pads.
What happened?
I don't know, I just couldn't do it. It done gone too fast, too quick. I expected that to be easy, but not the hard bit.
Well, I can tell you right now that your time, Johnny, was 4 minutes and 24 seconds.
Unlucky.
All right, next up is Dan.
Let's have it right. Let's go. Woo!
And he is off. Dan, our 22-year-old event organiser from Surrey, front crawls his way through the water. Now crawls his way up the beam, onto the barrel run for Headband Dan, where he's got to try and stay out of the way of those barrels. Oh, I thought it was nearly all over before it started. Dan's opting for Johnny's slightly over-dramatic leaping technique. It does look effective, but I suspect it costs him valuable time. He's getting over, he's staying on, but it's taking time. Onto the wall now, Dan feeling the full force of the water crashing down on him at a rate of 2,000 litres a minute.
Come on, make him fall, come on.
Support from his competitors. So to the spinner, will he get on first time like Johnny? He does. Dan is safely on. Now he's got to wait for the perfect time to attempt his leap. Get the timing wrong and he's in the drink. That will cost him time. Excellent judgment from Headband Dan. Now Dan needs to steady himself for the roller beam. But he's made light work of that. Oh no, disaster for Dan! He's face planted onto the first launch pad. Out of control, a slip, I don't know what happened, but that's got to hurt. The clock keeps on ticking while Dan clambers back up for another go. A more gentle approach works better this time, making the leap to the second pad. Dan's showing Johnny how this should be done now. And he's done it in a time of 2 minutes 15. Strong display from Headband Dan, but he doesn't know yet whether he's beaten Johnny. That was an impressive performance. A more cautious approach on the launch pads paid off for Dan in the end. But will it be paying out to the tune of 10 grand?
Come on out to me, Dan the man. How was that for you?
That was good fun, yeah. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah?
Win or lose now, it's the experience it's all about.
So the question is, are you faster than Johnny? And I can tell you that you were indeed faster.
Yeah, mate, that's brilliant. Come here, brother.
So Dan has raced around the course and beaten Johnny's time by some margin. It is now a straight contest between Sian and Dan for that £10,000 prize and the title of Total Wipeout champion. Let's head back to the start line. Next to go is gymnastics coach Sian, who started today's qualifier with some impressive flipping. And she needs to be flipping impressive now, making her way towards the beam. These beams covered in Vaseline makes it so hard to drag herself out of the water when she gets there. Now, Sian isn't as tall as her two rivals, which is definitely a disadvantage going into the barrel run. That first barrel completely taken her out there on the second. Oh, she's really struggling. The barrel's ganging up on poor Sian. It's not fair. Oh, then it is the wipeout zone. Sian now must start the barrel run all over again. The clock, meanwhile, just keeps on ticking. Don't forget, those barrels weigh 50 kilograms each. She's also now going for the dramatic leap technique. It worked for her rivals, worked so far for her too. Making her way now across the climbing wall. Actually very quickly and picking up time here. It's not over yet, she is still in this. Staying smooth and in control. She's made one error already. Sian needs to get across the spinner quickly now if she's to beat Dan's time. She's on. She's on. She's gone for it first time. She is on it. She's got to get off it. And she's misjudged the landing. It's so easy to do.
10 grand, 10 grand.
Sian managed to get both feet onto the platform, but her momentum just carried her too far. She's got to climb back up the waterfall and attempt the spinner once again. She's on. And attempt number 2, she's done it. Good work, Sian. Oh, my word, that is spectacular! But it's too little, too late. Sian gallantly tried her best, but it wasn't enough to beat Dan on the night.
Sian, what an incredible finish to that course. That was monumental. How are you feeling?
Good.
How do you think you did time-wise here tonight?
I don't think I did too badly, but I think Dan did better.
Well, I can tell you now, the winner of £10,000 and the Total Wipeout champion this evening is... Dan!
Yeah, well done, Dan. And well done, Sian, for beating Johnny, which we all wanted to see happen. Congratulations to headband ambassador Dan Hill-Smith, who is today's Total Wipeout champion, and also 10 grand better off. Maybe he'll spend a lot on one massive headband. Join us next time for more of this. And this. So from Amanda and me, it's goodbye. See you next time.